And now what if we typed in my email here and then hit login? Now it says the combination is wrong, but now I've lost my email. What's a good way of keeping that? We want to have a little bit better of an experience for the person who at least typed in the right email. Well, we have access to the email variable. So just go down here in your input, the first one, and just say value attribute. And we're just going to PHP echo the form email variable that we created way up here. So that's what they submitted in the form. And so now if we try again, type in an email, log in, it keeps it there for us. So we could try a password. And then I just logged in with my correct password. And now I'm in at the clients.php file, which of course is static right now. While I have you here, we're logged in here and we have our information up here at the top, which of course doesn't really work yet. But when I'm logged out, when I don't have anything, just say I'll go back to the index page here. Technically I'm logged out, but these links are still there. So what we're going to do is we're going to hide those if you're logged out and show them if you're logged in. So we're going to go to our header.php file and scroll down all the way to the collapse, navbar collapse, all this sort of stuff here. Right outside of the navbar UL, we're going to add a PHP script and we're simply going to say if session logged in user, because we created that session variable, open the curly brace there and leave it open. And then at the very bottom down here, right under logout, add another PHP script. And we're just going to go ahead and say else. Open up that curly brace. And then below here, we're just going to copy this UL, paste it below, change it up a little bit. And this is going to say index.php and log in. And then remove the paragraph tag. And then we're going to close that PHP script, curly brace, save it. And now if you have the session variable active, then it should show this stuff. If not, it will be gone. So because the session is active, it will be there. It's showing up. So it's working, but we have no way of verifying it until we log out. So why don't we create the logout page to get the whole login logout system out of the way? So open up your logout.php, and in our PHP script up here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to clear the cookie and everything we did in our previous thing. So I'm going to paste some code and I'll just show you, talk about it really quickly. So did the user's browser send them a cookie? So it's checking to see if the cookie was set with the session name. Empty the cookie to last about a day across the entire site. Go ahead and copy that in there. And then the other things that we want to do is clear all the session variables and unset the session and destroy the session. And that looks like this. Clear session variables, session unset, destroy the session, and session destroy. And then while we're here, I actually want to take this header.php and it should be at the bottom of our script. That needs to be the last thing because that's going to spit out HTML. We want PHP to happen first. So save that. And now our logged out link should actually be functional. So I'm going to hit log out. You've been logged out. See you next time. And notice in the header, now our stuff is gone. If I hit logged in, it goes back here. And we can't see those internal links until we've logged in with our account, like so. Okay, so now it's not showing. It disappeared when we were logged out, but it wasn't there when we were logged in. Now, why is that? And that's because in clients.php, we don't actually have the session active. So now we need to open up our clients.php file. And now we have a bit more magic to work here. So the very, very top of our PHP script, session_start. And now what we need to do is check to see a couple things. So this should now have the session variable active, and let's just see what happens. So now we have our links available and it looks good to go. Now under our session start, we need to check to see if the user is not logged in, and otherwise send them back to the login page. So they can't just manually type in clients.php. So I'm going to paste it and show you what it's all about. So if the user is not logged in, it's if statement. So if not session logged in user. So if that session variable is not available, obviously they're not logged in, send them back to the login page. And then now what should happen is if we go here and let's log out and then try to go to clients.php, it takes you right back to index because it doesn't want you to access that template unless you're logged in. It's just a security measure. And now what we need to do is connect to our database, and we do that using our include and include the connection.php file. Then we need to create a query and a result. And the query will look a little something like this. Select all from clients. We want everything. And then the result will just be MySQL underscore query. We're going to query the database and we're going to connect and then pass in the query. And we'll use this a little bit later down in our HTML. We're not going to do it up here in the header. And so now I just want to close the connection using MySQL underscore close and then pass in the connection. And then you should be good to go. So now nothing should really change once you're logged in. But now we have access to the database. We have the query and everything so that we can go ahead and start working with our table and displaying real data. So under your table row with all the table headings, we're going to be creating a dynamic version of what is in here. So open up a PHP script, and in your PHP script, you're going to do an if statement that looks a little bit like this. And we're going to say MySQL underscore num underscore rows. This is again just verifying that we have data. Pass in the result is greater than 0. This means that we have data and we can now output the data. And we're going to use a while loop here. And the while loop will be row equals MySQL underscore fetch underscore assoc for the associative array. You should know this by now. And pass in the result. Now we can start echoing some data. So I'm going to echo a table row with some table TD tags. So echo, bear with me here, TD tag, an opening TD tag. Then we're going to do another echo statement here. And we're going to open up, the first one is TR. Let's get that right. And then a TD tag, close the string, concatenate a row, and we're going to select name. Concatenate back to the HTML strings here, close that TD tag, and then open another TD tag. Outside of the string, concatenate the row, but then the email, because that's the next one in the columns here. So email, and that will look like this. Concatenate the string again. We're going to go ahead and do the closing TD tag and an opening TD tag. Concatenate, and then we're going to be looking for the row phone. Concatenate, you should know the deal here. A couple TD tags, close one and open one. Then concatenate row, address, concatenate closing tag, opening tag, concatenate row, and then company, closing TD, opening TD. And then last but not least, or maybe least, concatenate the row, and that will be notes. And then close the TD tag. Don't open one back up. Close the string and the semicolon. Then we want to echo. I'm going to do this in single strings here. And I'm going to do an opening TD tag, closing TD tag. And inside the TD tag, we're going to add an ahref because we're going to be adding a link there shortly. And then a type. And this should be double quotation marks if we're inside single quotation marks. The type will be button. Class will be btn-default, primary, btn-sm. Close the a tag like so. And then we want to have just an edit glyph icon. So I'm just going to give a little space here so you can see it a bit better. And we're going to say span, class, glyph icon, and then glyph icon dash edit. And that will give you the edit glyph icon, the font icon. And then now in the href, we want to go to edit.php because that's where we want this link to go. But we need to pass in a query string, so question mark, and then we're going to call it ID. That's going to be the name of the array that's passed. And then the value we want to pass equals. Now I want you to close the single quotation mark and then concatenate another row, but this one will be ID because now we have the ID of the entry itself. Concatenate and then close that single string and that will go back to normal. And then last thing we want to do is echo a closing str tag. Save. So now that's going to give us a table row with all that data with the TD tags, an edit link, and then it's going to close that row. And then if the MySQL num rows is not working, meaning if there are no entries or no clients, else statement on the outside of that if MySQL num rows, if they have no clients, we're going to echo just some HTML, a little warning here. Div tag, class, alert, warning, you have no clients. Save that. And now at the very, very end, before the closing bit of your script here, we're going to MySQLi close our connection. Save. And now we should, we should actually remove this table row here. So let's go ahead and remove this table row. We don't need it anymore. I think this is another sample one. Remove those two samples, and you should be remaining with one more table row that says add client. And that's just going to take you to the add page, which we'll work with shortly. So save that. Now let's see what clients.php looks like. You have no clients. So it looks like we're good to go because I have no clients in my database. If I were to add one manually in my clients table here, then yeah, it should show up. But we want to be able to add those manually here from our application. So we're going to do that next.